So I wanted to make this little devotional video. Um, Following Jesus is easy when life goes smoothly, but it's hard and it's tested really when you go through trials. I love this idea. I love this idea so much, and I've come to this idea from watching this video. What did Jesus mean when he said, "Take up your cross and follow me"? So maybe I'll have that in the description, the link to it. Um, when we're living life and we're going day to day to day to day to day, we want to be happy. We put like our pyramid of motivation, like our pyramid of like decision making and goals. At the very top is like happiness, pleasure, satisfaction, like fulfillment. But God asks us, Jesus asks us, the Holy Spirit wants us to take up our cross and deny our flesh, deny ourself, to die to self. And that seems counterintuitive at first because isn't like the ultimate happiness and pleasure like putting ourself first? But this is like a short-term thinking, and really it's not true. We really need to push ourselves to the side and put God at the top of that triangle. I don't know why the angles are always messing with me. Put God at the top of that triangle and put Him above ourselves. And He asks us to put, like, to die to ourselves, like, to put our desires and our wants and our hopes and dreams to die to those things. And so we automatically put ourselves first. We automatically put our own happiness and pleasures first. And so I almost feel like my basic idea of this is like, okay, you're automatically going to do put you first. So at least to start implementing dying to self and putting God first, it's like any sort of any sort of um, diversion from. I'm getting a call. Okay, I answer that call. But I have like I kind of want to conclude with this idea, this thought. And it's, well, I don't like it that I have to crucify my flesh. I don't like it that I have to die to self. I don't like it that I have to pick up my cross to endure um, suffering and sacrifice to follow God for eternal bliss and happiness. Like, I don't like that. I just want eternal bliss and happiness and to serve myself first in this life. And it's like, the thing, it just sucks to suck. It is what it is. You're human and you're not God. You're not existing outside of space, time, and matter. You exist inside of space, time, and matter. And you get a finite time to live. And with that finite time, it's really just a decision you have to make with your circumstance. Your circumstance is dying with your fleshly desires or living forever with God. And so it's like, it is what it is. And even though you sacrifice in a sense in this life, it makes your spirit, it makes your heart and soul, like, it makes your soul, your spirit feel happy. And your heart maybe doesn't feel happy sometimes about it. And your body maybe doesn't feel happy about it. And maybe there's social damage and there's emotional damage and there's um, physical damage. Like, maybe you get attacked physically for following God, putting God as number one. There's a lots of ways that you can take damage in this life by choosing to put God first. I think the main way I care about is there's lots of time And it's not 100% of the time, but there is a X variable amount of time. Well, really, it's fine. It's measurable, but I haven't lived all my life, so I don't know what the value is yet. But there is a percentage of time in which I will suffer. I'll have to say no to temptation. I'll have to, which is what I care about. I have to stand up for what's right, even though it might not be for my well being, but for God's purposes, which is kind of easy for me, that one. I don't know why. That one's easier for me. Saying no to temptations is hard for me. I don't know what else, but I think that's the gist. So say yes to God. It makes your spirit fulfilled and happy. And it's a long term satisfaction, joy, peace, and happiness. And even saying no to our temptations, even saying no to ourselves, even in this life, we benefit. Even in this life, we're blessed. We have a peace that God brings, and we have a joy that God brings, and we have a happiness that God brings. But it's not an always happiness. But you're not going to always be happy putting your own flesh first. It's like you get suffering and badness regardless of if you do what God asks or if you don't do what God asks. Like if you put yourself first, you still get to suffer. If you put God first, you still get to suffer. Like this isn't really a question of if you get to get it out of suffering or not. It's really just a question of, do you want to endure suffering and get eternal happiness? And maybe that's a selfish way to look at it, but I think it's true. um, and because you don't want to pursue yourself and suffer and not get eternal happiness and peace and joy. Like you want to put God first, suffer, get temporary spurts of happiness in this life, and get eternal happiness forever. So I think that's kind of the situation. Now, dealing with that and coming to terms with that and being at peace with that, maybe that's a lifelong pursuit. And I think that is true. But I think there's also I think there's probably information that could even put us at ease more with this predicament. So I hope this devotional has encouraged you to take up your cross and follow Jesus daily.